Hello everyone, this is Anna from FAQs Realty, and first of all, happy 2026! I wish everyone had a wonderful start of the year, and I'm going to start our YouTube channel here with an FAQ question answered video about some of the most asked questions that we get from our clients that hopefully will be helpful to anyone considering this complicated process of relocating to Portugal. So for those of you who don't know, FAQs Realty is a relocation and investment agency that helps expats move to Portugal in a sustainable and lifestyle way. We work with both rentals and purchases, and our goal is to help you find the best location and the best match for your budget and needs in all of continental Portugal. So if this makes sense to you, do check out our website in www.savvycatrealty.com, where we have all of our services listed very transparently. Also, our prices are rising, and you can only get the 2025 prices if you purchase your package until the 9th or 12th of January, depending on which package you are getting. And the buying packages are also going to rise until the end of January. So just FYI, if you want to enjoy 2025 prices, do get running to our website. So today video about some of our 10 most asked questions about relocating to Portugal and our services. So the first question that I'm going to answer is, when should I start preparing to relocate to Portugal? So this is a fairly complex situation. I have people that come to us years before. I've had clients that talk to us and only started the service like 2 years after. Overall, when it comes to actually starting the service, I recommend doing it first to have an idea of the date you actually want to come to Portugal. So let's imagine that you want to come to Portugal and start living in Portugal in June 2026. If you are buying, I would recommend to start your package now. If you are renting, I would recommend to buy your package 1 to 2 months before. 1 month is generally enough. So if you want to have your rental by July, I would recommend to start in early June or mid-March. Mid-April. So that generally tends to be the timing from our end. When it comes to actually preparing your journey, the whole thing is a lot more complex, as it depends on how many things you need to bring, if you have family arrangements to do, if you have property that you need to sell or contracts to end. All of those things need to be taken in consideration when you are planning your move. So the next question would be, how long does the visa process take? This is another thing that is highly tied to the first question. So depending on the visa you are getting, your process will be different. The visas we work the most with are the D7, the D8, the D2, and the Golden Visa. So we generally work the most with what is called the self-sustenance visas, the visas in which you come here proving that you already have the income to sustain yourself and won't be the burden to the state. When it comes to the D7 and the D8, those are what is known as the retirement visa or the digital nomad visas. Those are generally processed in a very similar way. They go through the same steps. The difference is whether you have active or passive income. The first step is to book your appointment in your local Portuguese embassy. And that is what is going to determine how long your process will take. So depending on how backed up this embassy is, for US clients, it's often a 3 months period. Often they only are able to get bookings for 3 months after the current time. While in other countries, it may be different, it may be more, it may be less. But this is the first thing you will need to kickstart the whole process. Once you have your appointment booked, then it's much easier to kind of predict the timings. Between the current time and the time to your appointment, you will have to get all of the documentations ready to submit your application. So those documentations generally take 1 to 2 months to get ready. You will need a criminal background check from your local national police. You will also need a NIF number from Portugal, which we do help you get, a bank account from Portugal, all of your proof of income, proof of birth and proof of marriage. So in order to get all of these documentations together and then go for the appointment, generally, like I said, it takes about 2 months to get all of the documentation in order, and then it just depends on the backlog on your embassy to get the actual appointment, but I would say an average of 3 months. Then once you have your application submitted, then it's on the embassy side. You can technically come to Portugal, but you will still be on a tourist visa until it is approved. And generally, you do have to go back to get your final documentation from the embassy. So if you do come to Portugal, do keep in mind you will likely have to go back to get the final approval. But you are able to come to Portugal on your tourist visa, and if you get the approval in the meantime, then you also get an appointment with IMA where they will take your biometrics and get you your residency card. And IMA is known to be very, very delayed. So often, even after you get your approval from the embassy, it is not uncommon for people to wait 6 months to get their actual card. But you are able to live in Portugal, and as long as you have the documentation from the approval, you won't have any major issues. This is mostly an internal organization problem. So, next question. Question number 3 is, how long does it take to secure a property? So this goes back also to question number 1, which is it depends on whether you are looking to rent or to buy. If you are looking to rent, then the process is very fast. It's actually very important that you are on top of the communications, and the same goes, of course, for the agents, as the rental market is very saturated and very fast in Portugal, which means that landlords tend to get their peak of tenants and get dozens of applications for the same property, and whoever gets the best whoever is the most appealing to the landlord or faster will get the property. So you don't really get a lot of room for negotiation, and you need to be fast. You can secure a rental as fast as a week. It will depend on whether or not you are picked by the landlords. The higher the risk if you don't have, proof of income proving that you are able to sustain that rent without being a problem for yourself. The more securities you can give to the landlord, the faster this process will be. If you are considered a risk tenant, then this process is likely going to be a bit slower, as you will get a lot more rejections and a lot more properties will be contacted. So I would say that the rental process will take anywhere between actually securing a rental generally takes between 2 weeks and a month and a half, sometimes 2 months, depending mostly on your qualifications as a tenant. And often what takes the most after the part of actually getting the visit and the approval tends to be quite fast. And then sometimes there are delays on the contracts and back and forth with the lawyers and so on. That's why I'm saying 2 weeks. So then when it comes to purchasing, once again, it depends a lot on how much there is in the market according to the things you are looking for. If you are looking for something that is what we call a unicorn, so a property that is very high quality and very low priced, it may take a while, as the main thing is going to be on top of the market in order to find something that fits your needs and budget. While if you have a comfortable budget, the market is less saturated. There is a lot more offer and less demand on the buying market, so things tend to be a lot slower. I would say that the buying process can take anywhere between a month and 6 months. Once again, it will depend on what you are looking for and your budget and how much things there are in the market within your budget. So the fourth question that I have here is, how much is the standard real estate commission in Portugal? So the standard real estate commission in Portugal tends to be 5%. Generally, what works in how things work here in Portugal is that the agency that represents the seller of the property has a contract with the seller of the property that tends to be 4 or 5%. Sometimes it is negotiated down to 4, or in some cases 3, in order to get exclusivity and so on. It is very common for properties to not have exclusivity and being listed by multiple agencies. It is also the higher end real estate companies also sometimes have 6% commission, but the market standard is 5%, and the standard practice is for it to get divided half-half between the seller representation and the buyer representation, which makes it so that seller agents do tend to prefer to find the buyers on their own, so they don't have to share commission. And we as buyer agents are very aware of this. So the fifth question is, why does SavvyCat operate with packages rather than commission? This is, of course, very tied to the previous question, and this is for multiple reasons. One of them being the fact that we help not only in the real estate process, but also with the relocation, the visa, getting the bank account, getting the property verified, getting the legal work, and getting your lifestyle and location advisory in the whole of continental Portugal. So we do a lot more than any other real estate or buyer agent, and that's why we operate in packages that include all of these services. Our packages are usually, our service duration is always a minimum of 3 months for rentals, and for purchases it starts from 6 months on, as this tends to be a very complex process where we support the client every step of the way. My goal when I created this service was also to make sure we were on the buyer side and providing the buyer as much safety as necessary. So we also include the legal verification and the property verification, and that also helps in the negotiation and making sure that we are fighting for our clients and not fighting to get a higher commission. So my goal is to have these packages, so no matter the price of the property that you get, you will always get the highest standard of quality and someone that is defending you on your corner. So that is why SavvyCat works with packages. So the sixth question is, can I rent first and only buy later? And the answer to this is yes. You can either, if you want to work with us, you can either purchase a rental package, and if you upgrade within 3 months of finishing your rental package, then the full amount can get deducted into the buying package. Or you can go directly into the buying package, which does include the rental, as it is very common for clients to want to rent first and then buy. So the buying packages do all include support in one rental if you want to do that. So the seventh question that I have here is, can the service be paused or delayed? And once again, the answer is yes. In the rental packages, this is not officially predicted, but if it is a short break of, let's say, 1 or 2 months, we usually allow it. However, if it is a long break, unless it is for very serious personal issues, we will generally not consider it. And when it comes to buying packages, then in that case, it is actually predicted in the package that you can suspend it for up to half of its duration. So our decided package has a duration of 6 months and means you can suspend it for 3. Our Wonder package has a service duration of a year and allows you to suspend it for 6 months, and so on and so forth. So generally, that is the consideration. So the 8th question I have here is, can you connect me to relevant professionals? Yes, once again, that is also included in our services. We pretty much act as concierges to our clients, helping them get settled to the best of our abilities. It's also included in our packages to support in renovations or construction, depending on the package you get. And that also includes prospecting for potential builders. And generally, we try to give you 3 options to choose from. And of course, if you request us to help you find other types of professionals, we also will do that through our local network, or sometimes just using our knowledge as locals. But we will always let you know whether or not we have worked with that person before. So, the 9th question is, can I meet other clients and get references? The short answer is yes. However, there is very serious data protection laws here in Portugal and in the European Union in general. So if you just reach out to us asking to be put in touch with some other person, we will first ask those clients if they accept being shared their contact with you, and only after getting their okay, we can put you in touch. But we are very confident in our ability to provide a quality of service, and I'm very confident in the professionality of my agents. So we are more than happy to put you in contact with happy clients, and we have a lot of them. You can check that in our reviews. You have them on Google that are made directly by the clients, and even our testimonies in our website and so on. They were all made without any script or forcing or any of that. So my goal from the start was always to provide a very high quality service, and I believe we are doing that and have happy clients to show for it. And the last question, the 10th question, is, how do I know I am making a good deal? This is once again a bit of a complex question, and once again ties to our values and packages as Savvy Cat Realty. This combines to a number of factors. So our goal, once again, we don't work by commission because we don't want it to be an incentive to have higher valued properties. So this is one of the reasons we work with packages. The other thing is, once again, we get all the legal verification and all of the technical verification to make sure there are no main issues with the property. And of course, when it comes to actually verifying the value of the property on the market, we have our internal MLS systems that are only available to legal agents. And we can show you statistics on those to show you whether or not the property you are looking at is priced above, within, or below the market price. And then we combine all that with the information we get from our lawyer and the inspection to negotiate the price in your behalf and make sure you are making a good deal. Also, if for some reason we think that the property is above the market value, then we will be honest with you and we will tell you, look, this property is a bit overpriced and we think that it's above the average price that it would be. In the end, the decision will always be by the client, but our goal is to be as transparent and honest with this as possible. So, these were 10 frequently asked questions in Savvy Cat Realty. It also covers a lot of our values and operation as a business, so I hope it was helpful. And if you do find this to be aligned with your own needs, always feel free to reach out to us in www.savvycatrealty.com or contact@savvycatrealty.com. And you can always book a free clarification call in our website where you are able to do so automatically and speak to one of our agents. Or if you want technical advice to speak with me directly, you can also do so in our website for a cost of 123 euros. So I hope that this was helpful. As you know, we are here every week with information about Portugal, our services, Portuguese cities. And if you find this useful, please do subscribe. And I hope to see you all next week. Bye.